to the clear provisions of the Constitution. Since the judgment was delivered, it has boxed legal practitioners to different corners. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Ife Adedipe, and a barrister at law, Olugbenga Adedugbe, opined that the provision of the Electoral Act is only to complement the Constitution, which only accounts for public servants and not political appointees.
The Constitution mandates public servants to contest election to resign 30 days to the election. Public servant. Public servant is different from political office holder. Political office holders are not public servants as defined by the Constitution. Because the Constitution itself defines who a public servant is in section 3.1, I think 8 or so. So it is wrong for that judge to equate political office holder with public servant.
The law as it is has no other law in replacement in the Constitution. That is when you can say it has contravened. And the National Assembly has this power to create laws that will complement the Constitution. And I believe Section 84(12) of the Electoral Act complements the Constitution.
Another legal practitioner, Kunle Ijalano, said the court's judgment is in the right direction, stressing that the Constitution, which is the mother law, cannot be set aside.
This aspect of the law will necessarily mean that you have to resign. And the Constitution says, the Constitution gives you leverage of 30 days. This is not saying that. So your right to be a delegate, to vote for yourself or vote for is now being tampered with. And people are now saying, no, the Constitution has given a shield. And this law, to the extent of contravening that provisions of Section 66, subsection 1F, is to that extent void.
The speed and procedure which the judge worrisome to Mr. Ibokunfasomi, a legal practitioner, in view of the magnitude of the case.
For me, that judgment cannot survive on appeal. No doubt about it. The Electoral Act stands as it is. And until the Supreme Court finally echoes or confirms the judgment of this woman here, which I believe will never, then it is then we can begin to make a debate or state something in terms of prevarication on this issue. But for now, Electoral Act still stands. The provisions there are still instant. That judgment cannot be enforced yet, because it is something that must be tested both at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court.
While the discourse surrounding the amendment and court decision may not abate soon, many Nigerians are optimistic that a final resolution will give credence to a strong electoral process in the country. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Still on the matter, the Senate will tomorrow debate the said judgment by a Federal High Court sitting in Umuahia, nullifying the provisions of Section 84, subsection 12 of the newly amended Electoral Act 2022 passed by the National Assembly. Justice Evelyn Anyadike in a judgment held that the section of the Act was unconstitutional, invalid, illegal, null, void and of no effect whatsoever, adding that it cannot stand as it is in violation of the clear provisions of the Constitution. Consequently, the court ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to forthwith delete the said subsection 12 of the Section 84 from the body of the Electoral Act. The Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omoagege, put the question for a motion to be brought to the floor during plenary tomorrow to debate the judgment. The voice vote received the overwhelming support of lawmakers for the motion to be considered. Staying with legislative activities, but now from Cross River State, armed policemen this morning took over Cross River State House of Assembly. The policemen drawn from the anti-kidnapping squad and regular policemen were also seen around the routes leading to the House of Assembly. Movement into the Assembly complex on Diamond Hill was restricted. Their presence followed the High Court ruling on Monday, sacking 20 lawmakers in the state for defecting from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Still on the state's politics, a federal high court Abuja will on Friday deliver judgment in a suit filed by the People's Democratic Party against Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River. The PDP, through its counsel, Emmanuel Okala, SAN, had filed the suit before Justice Taiwo to seek an order sacking the governor and his deputy over their defection to All Progressives Congress, among others. Justice Taiwo had on Monday ordered 2 House of Representatives members representing Cross River and 18 lawmakers from the state's House of Assembly to vacate their seats over their defection to APC. He also dismissed other preliminary objections raised by the sacked lawmakers. Away from legislative activities, newly sworn-in Governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, has raised alarm over the state of economy of Anambra, which he said is in a bad shape. Speaking during a television program this morning, Soludo betrayed silence, claiming his predecessor, Willie Obiano, had left less than 400 million naira in the state coffers. He also claimed he inherited a debt running into hundreds of billions of naira from his predecessor. The governor further expressed worry concerning this ugly development, saying the state finance is in dire need of restoration. You're watching the news at 7 on OSRC television. We'll go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Stories, but only the best will make Globe Battle of the Year Nigeria. The search for Africa's most creative dance talent.
You're welcome back. You can watch us on our website www.osrc.ng and on Facebook OSRC TV Undo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Undo. Moving on to the rest of the bulletin. Residents of Araromio Baile along Airport Road in Akure North local government area of Ondo State are now counting their losses and no thanks to Monday's devastating rainstorm. The natural tempests left in its wake destruction of properties worth millions of naira. Bisola Aluko reports that victims are pleading for assistance.
The downpour, which should have been a relief after weeks of heat wave, left in its wake destruction of properties worth millions of naira in the community. The rain, accompanied with storm which lasted about an hour, also disrupted business activities and rendered some homeless. One of the victims, Mr. Emmanuel Idowu, an automobile engineer, said the whirlwind destroyed his workshop and customers' vehicles.
All of a sudden, thunder strike everywhere, even inside the car that was sit down, even the car was shaking then. Which are like, everybody, which kind of thunder is this? All of a sudden, the wind started to blow, carry everything, demolish the shop, fall everything on the cars. At least damage of almost 3 or 4 cars.
Other victims lamented their losses and urged the Ondo State government to come to their aid.
When the breeze is too much, some of them don't run out. Because men only me, I don't know how I can do. Even though all my body, the rain beat me. Immediately, the breeze carry all the roof inside, throw away back to the backyard.
So suddenly, I heard that they were just shouting outside that the wind has removed the roof. So when I came to see it, to do, because it really destroyed a lot of things there, and I didn't even know where to park to.
Both in July, the ground, water don't enter all.
Agency, Mr. Olariwaju Kadiri, applauded the prompt responses of Ondo State government to disaster management. Mr. Kadiri spoke at a stakeholders session held in Akure on duties, functions and responsibilities of participants. Government House correspondent Timile Falade has details.
Disaster management is demanding, hence the several measures in place by government to nip it in the bud. The latest effort is a stakeholders meeting where it was noted that timely response and smooth collaboration amongst relevant agencies are key to ensuring outbreak of disasters are effectively managed and reduced to the barest minimum. In his welcome address, the head Ekiti Operations Office of the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA, Mr. Olariwaju Kadiri, said the meeting is to improve on the synergy already established by agencies and organizations involved in disaster management.
It's no news that various agency organizations in the business of disaster management have specific duties, functions, and responsibility assigned to them. As to ensure that the purpose of the existence is actualized, and that is the main reason, that is the main reason why we consider it important that we all gather here today to remind ourselves of these duties, functions and responsibilities assigned to each of us as disaster managers.
Ondo State Deputy Governor and Chairman of the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Lucky Ayedatiwa, represented by the agency's Secretary, Femi Obideyi, said the strategic meeting will chart a way forward in making agencies work hand in glove to reduce disaster outbreak. Ayedatiwa stressed that SEMA is already collaborating with the Ministry of Environment to clear drainages in various parts of the state to avoid flooding as the rain season approaches.
For us to come around, to discuss, to share together, to share tools, and to be able to actually formulate a concrete plan. At the end of the day, I believe and I'm very sure that we will have actually be able to achieve the laws by the time we are living in.
Some of the participants, including officials of the police, Ministry of Health and Fire Service, said the meeting will go a long way to further broaden their horizon on relationship to effectively manage disasters.
You know, disaster depends on the kind of disaster. Some are natural, some are artificial. But if it is water spillage, you know water is. We have to relocate them from that community a very far distance. Thereby, local government authority, the state government, if possible, the federal government will come in and take necessary action. But for the police, we ensure we maintain our ground, safety of life and property, which we have been doing.
We need to plan ahead of events. Peradventure, there is event, what shall we do to reduce, if you cannot say in totality to reduce that and or to mitigate that incident.
So Ministry of Health has always been there in the forefront of the response to disaster management. Everybody is that we have to work together as a team, we are collaborating together.
The deliberation is expected to ensure that Ondo State is disaster-free by taking precautionary measures to avoid increase in fatality. Timile Falade.
No fewer than 275 soldiers are to take part in this year's Inter-Below competition at the 32 Artillery Brigade Owena Cantonment in Akure, the Ondo State capital. The 4-day competition is geared towards keeping the soldiers professionally fit in the discharge of their statutory duties. Our reporter, Joy Pius, has
the integrity of the nation and secure its borders from violation on land, sea, or air. Hence the annual competition. 275 are participating in this year's 2-division inter-brigade corporal and below competition. In his welcome address, Commander 32 Artillery Brigade, Brigadier General Maktar Adamu, noted competition where soldiers displayed skills to the audience marvel. Other activities for the 4-day competition include combat swimming, map reading, weapon handling, and combat race. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
The Lagos State government has arraigned the driver of the bus rapid transport, Andronice Omininu Koran, before the State High Court sitting at Tafawa Balewa Square. He was arraigned on a 4-count charge bordering on rape, conspiracy and murder of his passenger, Oluwabamiche Anyanwola. When all the counts were read to the defendant, he pleaded not guilty to the charge against him. He asked the court to order a further remand of the defendant at the Ikoyi prison and subsequently adjourned the case to May 10 and 11, 2022 for commencement of trial. Moving on to the foreign scene, Sri Lanka has ordered trips to petrol stations as sporadic protests erupted among the thousands of motorists queuing up daily for scarce fuel. To end the news at 7, here again are the major stories. Residents of Akure, the Ondo State capital, have cried out to the federal government to find a lasting solution to the lingering fuel scarcity in Nigeria. Divergent views have continued to trail the court judgment on Electoral Act, allowing political appointees contest primaries of political parties. We also told you that the